This is Josh Friedman in Skopje, Macedonia. Today is March 3, 2017. It has been nearly 3 months since Macedonia held parliamentary elections, yet there still is no new government in place. What's going on right here is a large protest against opposition leader Zoran Zaev. People here gathered are mostly supporters of former Prime Minister Nikola Gruevski. On December 11th, Macedonia held parliamentary elections, and it was a very, very close call between Gruevski's Vemero party and Zaev's Social Democrats. Gruevski's party came away with 51 seats in the parliament, and Zaev's party came away with 49 seats. In order for either one of them to form a government, they need a coalition and they need the support of at least one, if not several, ethnic Albanian parties. Gruevski tried to form a coalition but failed, and then Zaev managed to form a coalition, but on Wednesday, Macedonian President Georgi Ivanov, who is politically closer to Gruevski, refused to hand the mandate to Zaev. That is because in order to get the support of the ethnic Albanian parties, Zaev struck a deal in which he agreed to pass a law that would make Albanian an official language in Macedonia nationwide. That triggered the protests that are ongoing right now. They started about 5 days ago, and they have been gathering thousands of people in the streets of Skopje and more people across the country who are angered by this deal to make Albanian the official language, or an official language here in Macedonia. If you take a look at the footage from the march through the streets of Skopje that just finished up, everyone in this group, or the only flags you'll see in this group are Macedonian flags. People are wearing Macedonian colors and carrying Macedonian flags, as opposed to Zaev supporters include many Albanians. You can see from past footage people with Albanian flags, even Turkish flags, American flags. This is largely a nationalist group that is enraged by the deal to make Albanian an official language. Heading into the election, there had been talk about the ethnic Albanian minority, which comprises about 25% of the country, talk about them pushing for the federalization of Macedonia. And that is something that Gruevski and many of his support, or all of his supporters probably, bitterly oppose. And many of them view the language issue as a stepping stone to federalization of the country and basically creating an Albanian area, semi-autonomous area within Macedonia. Now, there are geopolitical undertones to this, as has been the case for the past few years in Macedonia. The US, the EU, and NATO are all pushing for Ivanov to allow this new government to form. On the other hand, Russia is quite upset about the possibility of there being a coalition between Zaev and the Albanian parties here, and Russian state media have actually been running headlines this week talking about how the West is pushing for the creation of Greater Albania. So there are geopolitical undertones here. Gruevski, although he is formally for Macedonia joining NATO and joining the EU, he has in the past sided on some issues with Russia. For instance, he refused to join the Western sanctions against Russia over the Ukraine crisis, and that certainly upset the West, whereas Zaev is seen as much more friendly to the West, and he seems to be a favorite of billionaire philanthropist George Soros, who has come into the fold here through his Open Society Foundation, which has been spending millions of dollars and apparently has also been getting contracts from the U.S. State Department. The Open Society Foundation has been organizing protest groups against Gruevski, and because of that, many of Gruevski's supporters are absolutely furious with Soros, the Open Society Foundation, as well as the U.S. government and the U.S. ambassador to Macedonia, Jess Bailey. He's come under fire here recently as well. Those are some of the geopolitical issues at stake. As far as what actually happens with the forming of a government, here it remains up in the air. Right now it's in the hands of Ivanov to give the mandate to someone or not give the mandate to someone. There's a debate as to the legality of Ivanov withholding the mandate. As I was saying, there's debate as to the legality of Ivanov withholding the mandate from Zaev. Prior to Zaev striking this deal with the ethnic Albanian parties, the EU had actually been pushing for there to be what's called a wide-ranging coalition, which would involve have a government that would include both Zaev's party and Gruevski's. That may still be a possibility, it may not. Gruevski said that he would not go for that. Since Zaev struck this deal, Gruevski's been pushing for early elections yet again. We'll see what will happen. It really remains up in the air. So for now, I'm going to cut to some footage of the march and the protest here in Skopje, and I'll call it a wrap. Ciao.